Welcome, everybody, to another episode of Manifesting Conversations. I'm your host, Jukebox Ginger, and man, do we have a show tonight. First off, I'd like to thank everybody who's been giving the channel support, and as we grow, I want to invest more time into some more serious, in-depth conversations, which is why I started this show, which I was telling our guests a little bit about before we went live. But I have a lot of curiosity and respect for people and their commitments to their beliefs, whether spiritual or religious. It doesn't matter. If you're a good person and you have a good word and you have meaning behind it, I'm very curious about it, which is how I stumbled upon our guest Marina Jacobi today. Marina Jacobi, how are you this evening?
Hi, and thank you so much for having me. Hello, everybody.
Marina Jacobi is the author of The Harmonic Reactor. You can also find her on her website, marinajacobi.com, and Rumble, which is that probably where you focus most of your attention to when bringing in followers?
It goes through YouTube and Rumble, and if you subscribe in a website, all the platforms that are I am part of, they basically you can subscribe from there. I also created Quantum Manifestation Network, when you can subscribe there, and it's all based on it's free. If you wish to leave a donation, it's greatly appreciated. But you're gonna learn about energy philanthropy with everything I do. It's quantum structure, so yeah, it's a very in-depth materials. So it's diving into the unknown, and is a new way of how you construct and deconstruct your reality, your matrix, and you're gonna learn alchemy of creation with everything there.
And I have to say, so since I've reached out to you and I've done some research, a lot of the stuff that you discuss is very definitely in depth. Actually, all of it is very in depth, and even for the beginners. And I think if you don't have the focus or the mindset, then it's hard to really get enveloped into the topics that you discuss. But I love it. I love everything that you're discussing, and a lot of it, all of it. I keep saying a lot of it. All of it is very like scientific based, which is amazing to me. But let's talk a little bit about your upbringing. I mean, I've done a listen to quite a few episodes that you've been on and seen a lot of your stuff, so I kind of know about it already. But you're from Bulgaria, born in '71. But what was life like as a kid growing up in Bulgaria?
Very, I would say, natural. We had a beautiful country, very rich in wealth of gold, and best land around is like a second Switzerland.
Mhm.
But it went into a couple of regimes. We were 500 years under Ottoman Empire, and but we have a huge history. Bulgaria, and 681 became one of the biggest countries in the world with three kingdoms, and was basically robbed, and barbarians are involved in an enormous history. We went through the empire. We were like Sofia was called like a second Rome, but through history, after we end up under Ottoman Empire, we were 500 years under Ottoman Empire. The whole culture was really taken away from its own belief systems and was prosecuted for all this stuff. And then we moved. The Bolsheviks, the Russians, actually free us in one of the mountains. Shipka, actually, it's called. It's a huge monument there, that we got our freedom. But because of that, we went under basically Russian, brotherhood, because they free us, and so we really appreciate. That's why Bulgaria is always connected so much with this type of culture. I have a stepsister, actually half sister, actually, that is Russia, born in Russia. But I must say, strong communities, big country, the land, the soil. There's Bulgarian yogurt that the bacteria is nowhere in the world because
Mhm.
of the way. So grew up in a very, how should I say? It was a communism, but like a child, you don't really feel it. I started feeling it when I got older. But it's a
Right.
huge history. We have a yeah, huge history there.
Yeah, and you talk about, being kind of a tomboy and not really having a lot of dolls and girly
Yeah.
books.
I was still in my brother's. You know, they have this gold. They have this glass little balls that you play with.
Uh-huh.
And I was still in it because I was in love with Miroslav from the fourth floor. So I thought this is gonna be the way for me to get it. For
Right.
him to love me.
Uh-huh. Yeah. See, I grew up, through technology. I was born in '88, so I mean, technology was around, but like I did a lot of outdoor playing and stuff like that. Nowadays, the kids have the video games and social media, which I'm sure we'll kind of dive into here in a little bit. But yeah, so something happened to you with your mom coming back from a convention. Do you want to talk a little bit about that?
Yes, I had a lot of dreams, predictive different things, but I think when kids are young, they have a lot of abilities like that. And my mother came from convention, expo actually,
Hmm.
and she came with two people that they were doing, energetic work. I don't know too much about it. And I never forget, I was maybe 8 or no, maybe 10 years old,
Hmm.
and they did some kind of an energetic medicine or whatever they were doing, healing, but there were three of them circling me, and I
Hmm.
was in the middle. And when they did something with the energy, I almost lost consciousness. I started to completely fading. And at the moment they saw that I was basically collapsing on the floor, they moved it, three of them, their hands like this,
Hmm.
and when they did that, I completely regained consciousness. And that for me was like somebody shocked me. And
Hmm.
it basically brought my curiosity to such an extent that I started asking a lot of questions. And my mother said, well, why don't you try automatic writing?
Hmm.
So she explained to me how to relax and uh, do it like a fun. And I started doing like a fun because it was so much, I was very interested, and I always talked about extraterrestrials. I wanted to write a book about extraterrestrials. I mean, talk about it. Something was
Yeah. Yeah.
definitely within there, but
Yeah.
nobody knew. So through the years, all of a sudden, I start developing this connection and start connecting with so-called somebody there, and they were always teaching me to be good, to do different things, and little by little, I was able to, in 1993, to come to America. It was the best day of my life in the beginning.
Yeah, of
Uh,
course.
and but It was very interesting because I had a dream with one of the biggest psychics in the world, Baba Vanga. She's very famous, the Bulgarian Baba Vanga psychic. And she did something in her dream. And because I asked her, can I get out and I want to go to America? I was obsessed. I saw something on TV. And for some reason, from that time, so this is how things were happening. So there's a connection with that, but I didn't know what was happening at this time. So I developed this type of automatic writing through the years, and when I finally came to America, I just had a fun with that. Nobody
Mm.
knew anything about it. Only closest friends I talk about it, different stuff. But the big stuff happened in 2010. I was already married. I have two boys, and I was sitting in one of the rooms because I stay home mom. I take care of the boys, and my husband was working in the entertainment industry, so sometimes it's 15 hours a day, right? So I was
Right.
a homestead mom. And I will never forget, I was in my son's bedroom, and all of a sudden I do automatic writing, but the face that ended up, was like a extraterrestrial, like a ET of the grace. But
Right.
they didn't, and they said to me, "Hello, Marina, we are the hybrids." They didn't say the grace. They said we are the hybrids, and anything you see in front of you, anything you think, we see it in front of us like a hologram.
Hmm.
Immediately sparked my curiosity. I was not afraid because throughout the years I always had entities that were nice to me, uh,
Right.
automatically writing dreams, but was never, something scary. If I been rambunctious or something, they would tell me forgive, be good, all this stuff. So because I have that curiosity from within, and I started asking a lot of questions, and this was the beginning of the journey of them teaching me beginning steps of what is a hologram, what's really happening. So they're gonna tell me something automatic writing, and all of a sudden I don't know what they're talking about. So I'm gonna go on the internet, and because I thought I was losing my mind with some of the stuff that they were saying,
Right.
a hologram. But more I was digging in, more information I will find. But at the same time, they will start telling me that we are in a prison planet. And oh my God, wait until I got into this rabbit hole. I found Carrie Cassidy, so she ended up helping with a lot of the stuff. And all of a sudden, not only that they were teaching me what is a reality, what's really happening in a hologram, but also that the planet was hijacked. We're into a holographic prison, and I end up in incredible shock. You go through a shock, depression, horror. You don't know what's going on. Nobody. I was not allowed to talk to anyone.
Right.
Nobody could understand me, nobody, because all of a sudden the information that they were giving me was in a quantum structure. When
Right.
2012, that so now this is happening like almost 2 years
Mhm.
with them. They start also teaching me absolute detox, and you're gonna find the detox protocols on my YouTube channel and my website.
Mhm.
Completely detox my body with elimination diet to the point that I end up only on the water. And when you end up in the water, what's happening through the process, you're raising the frequency so much to the point that you don't want to eat anymore. And I literally, when I end up only in water, so that took almost like a year of completely, slowly detoxing through juicing, live juices, no powders,
Right.
different frequency. What you're doing is you're mutating the molecular cellular structure of your body, and the spinning through the vibration, you start becoming more luminous, and you're starting downloading information out of the prana, out of the matrix, in a much more higher rate of frequency, electrocharge magnetically.
Right.
And that changes your entire structure to the point that I one day I literally, they told me, if you are able to hold 15 days only in juicing, only in the juicing, we will upgrade you. But keep in mind that at that time I was already connected. I got connected with Ra
Mhm.
consciousness. Ra ended up teaching me a lot of the quantum structure. He was very strict. And one day, Ra,
If I may interrupt, is this the same raw that most people would know from like?
yes,
Okay.
yes, is the same Ra. And I found out that I was part of consciousness of that. You connecting through realities is something like that. So I had that resonance to hold the vibration to be able to connect, because everything is a vibrational sequences, and your consciousness, your body have to hold the vibration. But I'll tell you later why I was able to hold that vibration.
Right.
It's very interesting, you know.
It is.
And the raw, after teaching me, so now I have the hybrids constantly. They were switching basically.
Yes.
Anytime I can talk to anybody. So Ra all of a sudden introduced me and said to me, and I'm doing automatic writing. Imagine you writing between two people and you're just the bystander. So I
Right.
end up writing exactly the conversation. And all of a sudden I'm hearing, Marina, this is the Council of Nine,
Mhm.
and we are consoles that are above the extraterrestrials, and we are like basically almost like Supreme Court type of thing of galactic,
Right.
and they oversee ETs, they oversee certain consciousnesses into planetary work, but it's got to be connected through consciousness and the mind and the body and linear stuff that we're not aware from here yet.
Right.
So the interesting thing was when I was introduced to them, they were watching me and I'm writing, oh yes, we understand you were right. And they said she doesn't have one speck of being evil, because I went through a lot of stuff in my country and a lot of things happened that I could have literally destroyed people of what they did to us, because I was molested, then somebody stole the whole thing of the property of the whole family, my whole family ended up in the street. Through this process I could have destroyed all these people, and yet I chose to be the high ground. And now everybody's getting along, the family, completely everybody educated. I mean, it was crazy, but I was in the center of everything to control everybody what to do. And
Mhm.
it was always through stuff. So They wanted a consciousness that basically had that compassion, but is very strong as a still at the same time. Because in
Right.
order for you to convert and go forward, you cannot allow somebody to overtake your consciousness and is coming a different vibration within the field.
Right.
So they start, and they're predominant now. They start working with me and constantly end up teaching me the quantum structure, realities, information, downloads. So again, it's hybrids. Ra moved away 2 years later after that and say, I'm ascending. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm ascending, going to the next level of evolution. And I end up staying only with the hybrids, the Council of Nine. But all of a sudden, one day I was walking in the living room, and in the hallway, I'm literally hearing in my head, because at the same time they start teaching me telepathically to connect, which I was able to do.
Mhm.
And all of a sudden I start hearing the thoughts, visions, and I hear, you got to download the harmonic reactor. And when you have a download, is going in your mind, is constantly repetition, the harmonic reactor, the harmonic reactor. And within 1 year, it took me 1 year, when every day I will sit with the Council of Nine and the Pleiadians. What happened is I was connected with the Pleiadians. So the harmonic reactor was downloaded from the Pleiadians and the Council of Nine, mostly the Pleiadians, which I
Mhm.
found out that I was part of the Pleiadians, and my consciousness is coming from the Pleiadian structure. So basically, when you think of Pleiadians, think of parallel reality or higher or off planet. But because the vibration of the planet is such a different resonance that you do not see it now with a certain eyes, but you can shift the vibration and teleport, bilocate yourself in that reality. And that's a very complex information now.
Right.
Just giving you a very little spec, how is this possible for us to do.
Right.
In all my materials, that's why when they start talking to me, I downloaded this information, and that information was given from the Pleiadians to me. That is advanced extraterrestrial technologies, and in that book, you have from A to Z everything for new advanced technologies, and it's like what is reality, how you can build a spaceship connected with your consciousness. When your consciousness basically projects something, and you can drive a spacecraft
Right.
uh, of a planet that is connected with your mind. You're not plugged in the way you see in some
Yeah.
of the stupid shows.
Hmm.
Actually, it's called hyperspace hologram when it's connected with organic intelligence, AI, another version which is much more advanced. That when you think of it, you imagine you're in a virtual reality room, and when you think of something, you literally can point location, and you're driving the spacecraft with your mind.
Right.
So basically, in the harmonic reactor book, you also have healing through sound. There is one of the most, I think, important information that I've seen they given me, was you have frequency and sound, but the frequency and sound, they were given what is 1 hertz, 2 hertz, 3 hertz, but what is the function in this frequency, of this frequency within the quantum structure. Basically, it was giving us what 1 hertz do and is capable of doing into the quantum structure for mobilizing and creating everything that is within the field to become matter.
Right.
This you can construct and deconstruct based on the sound frequency vibration and how do you combine. So when you look at my book, you're basically gonna see how they're giving you the stuff, but they're also giving you ideas what to do. And the book is in code. It was directly downloaded. I did not change one word in that book except spelling,
Right.
because they told me that the way they downloaded to me in sequence, since words are vibrational sound wave, and they will, when you read my book, it will restructure your brain synapses in a fifth dimensional platform resonance. And that's why it looks a little bit off of some of the stuff, but it's done on purpose, so your consciousness can reason the vibration of your mind, and that will activate your body DNA.
You even talk about how like publishers try to reach out and tell you to kind of take things out of it.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. They wanted me to remove how you actually shift the timeline. And that was one of the most important information. Basically, obviously, there were a group of people that did not want humanity to get out, because what's really happening is that one of the teachings, and I want to mention for the harmonic reactor, that in the end they gave me fifth dimensional or organic intelligence algorithm, which is basically AI, but the sequences of that AI, what they give there, is actually the fractal expression of the AI that is not negative, but is another advanced version. And the only way you can break down this negative AI is through another version of itself. So that's a big topic, we can come to that.
Yeah.
But basically, this is what they were trying to do that, because what's happening really, and this is what they taught me, my guides, I call them my guides, but in so many groups, I was
Mhm.
telling you, that basically consciousness, in consciousness everything is different resonances, but similar on resonance sound waves, they combine together, mobilize, and create a molecule. That molecule, it's so potent on vibration that when it's flickering, expands to infinity and collapses to infinity. But when starting to expand, if it vibrates, at the moment it vibrates, immediately creates another version of itself.
Right.
Imagine how quick that is. And when you look at that molecule, it moves so quickly that you look at it like it's still, but in actuality it's moving so quickly that looks like it's not moving. And this is why there's no time, and how everything is reprinted and everything exists. There's no past, there's no future, everything is now, and you can literally shift your consciousness from one location to another if you know the resonance of the previous location.
Right.
So it's a complex. I know it's a complex information, but if you
Mhm.
start studying the protocols, you will understand that basically everything in the reality that you see, when that particle flickers, when you project the new particle from the old one, this is the new one. That new particle, it's really mimicking the first one, and
Right.
that's why 1 plus 1 does not equal 2 but equals 3, because between this structure and that structure is a third structure mutation between those two, and yet in the end again is one unit, because you create in one reality again. So always going to end up in a one momentum, no matter how much you merge in what you're doing. But when that particle projects and becomes a new one,
Right.
that new particle is holding and mimicking the vibration of the previous. So when you shift, you actually are not, you actually creating a new version. You creating a new reality. You shift your consciousness literally in a new earth, and that new earth is another version of you, and you're reprinting everybody in it as another version. It's not
Right.
the same. So they hold similar on vibration realities, and that's why you think is continuous. But in actuality, this reality earth and this reality earth with you, they're completely different realities. And
Right.
this one has nothing to do with this one. They just mimic to each other like a two different pictures.
Yeah.
So this reality could have been 10,000 years ago, and yet you're thinking is literally the next second, because you carry literally mimicking the vibration. And if you know that, that means that past, future, and present, it doesn't matter. What matters is only what you project right now. So your
Right.
thought becomes a hologram. Your emotion from the heart is actually the one that activates the hologram and is starting to vibrate. But the one that is really crystallizing this from those two, from the ether to become matter, is your physical action. That's why you meditate. Oh my God, I love this and I love that. And you meditate and you bring a lot of, help. But in order
Right.
to truly manifest, you got to take the action, because you're creating a matter reality.
Right. You talked about detoxing, and I think that with the way that the world is today, it's very easy to get lost in the negative. Whether it's like finances or the food that you eat, which affects your health. The way you're raised, as you mentioned earlier, and I think that kind of creates a barrier for people, and kind of, I wouldn't necessarily say blinds them, but it's easy to kind of lose focus. Would you agree on that?
Absolutely. I lose focus. I ruin my diet, and every day here, go back to the water, go back
Mhm.
to the water. You got to raise your vibration. People don't understand that we were never meant to eat the animals. We were never meant to do. We are actually etheric beings. We were literally hijacked, and when somebody start projecting negative frequency and teaches you the wrong version of the reality, then you're starting to resonate and you're starting to project frequency into that timeline and you lock yourself into. In
Mhm.
actuality, your consciousness and your thoughts can create a vibration that is so high in resonance that you escape that reality and you create in another when you shift it, then you're shifting yourself in another version parallel reality that this does not exist anymore. And
Right.
this is the whole material is in the quantum manifestation protocols when it's teaching you the alchemy of creation and how you can construct and deconstruct something and mutate something like complete mutation of something that you see in front of you, because
Mhm.
what's really happening in that one molecule that is you, nobody else exists except you, but you are projecting frequency into the field in front of you becomes a hologram, and that reflection, that person or whatever you see is another version of you, and that version could be a singular, or that version could be infinity, because that particle collapses to infinity. So when you're doing ascension, you're actually doing a singular ascension by projecting the collective world within you,
Right.
because in a quantum structure, since everything exists, anything you imagine right now in a etheric field that exists already, because it's no time, because you cannot imagine this if you don't know that reality already. But because it's no time, you gotta create it to see it.
Right.
That's complex, I know. They repeated that thing 15 times to me in my head one time until they saw that I crystallized it in my memory bank.
I
Because
mean, if you about you talk about like ascending, and even like I guess in more of like a basic term, would like if somebody wants to do better or be better, it's just a matter of doing it rather than just thinking it.
that's right.
You know.
That's right, because what's really happening, you may think of it, but when you think it, that is, remember, that is just an ether vibration.
Right.
You have to have a positive emotion when you want to create a structure above the negative platform. So you have a positive feeling, knowingness that already pre-exists, and you gotta create it to see it. In
Right.
the quantum structure, you don't see it to believe it. You gotta believe it to create it to see it. Is the opposite.
Right.
So whoever taught us, oh, I gotta believe it to see it. Remember that saying? I
Right.
gotta believe
Yeah.
it to
Yeah.
see it. Well, that was the lie. That was the mirror image, because somebody told you that when you standing in front of the mirror, and if I tell you put a lipstick, where are you gonna put the lipstick, on the mirror image or in yourself?
On
Then
yourself.
why are you believing that everything you see in a teleprompter, when in reality the teleprompter, somebody hijacked your consciousness and they're programming everything the way they want in your narrative, in their
Right.
narrative. And when you believe that to be true, then you're massively projecting that, because when so many people see it, the vibration of that emotion and thought within the field of the collective consciousness becomes so potent a vibration that manifests very quickly, is precise.
Right. A lot of people have
How
that.
they lock this in.
And a lot of people, I can't do. I want to do this, but I can't. I want to do this, but I can't. And it's like,
But that's an
well, what?
illusion,
Yes.
because that version of you already made it, already pre-exists in a quantum field. You just got to bring it down in a meta structure like alchemists, but it's a very specific protocols to do that. Understand that what they gave me the alchemy of creation and
Mhm.
the key of creation. If you learn these methods, you're going to escape the matrix of the negative reality, because it's the exact opposite of what they taught us. They taught us the opposite math, physics, quantum. You didn't even know about quantum.
Mhm.
And the food, poisonous, everything that lower the DNA, lower the DNA from 12 strand drop into who knows what. And they're
Right.
constantly projecting frequencies through all the technologies. Everything is poison. And for that reason, we should be living thousands of years. And
Yeah, and that's a lot of stuff that you can find on her Detox 101,
yeah,
which I recommend for everybody. It's definitely a very good breakdown for anybody that's interested, obviously. Um, What about, like, I didn't hear on a lot of the stuff that I've listened to, which I'm sure you might have talked about these subjects, but like people who believe in like the paranormal, like heaven and hell, or like have had experiences of like poltergeist, or things like that. Are these energies or spirits? Do these actually exist, or is it just a projection that we make?
Okay, what really happened is, you know how they have it in the Bible, heaven and the hell and stuff like this. Something similar like this happened when something separated within consciousness. But the truth of the matter is, now we're gonna go into the quantum structure. Consciousness itself is expanding its own learning. Imagine it's a laboratory of creation and is creating different things based on a free will of choosing. When one particle creates itself within the field of consciousness in a matrix, it has a like a free radical to move whatever it wants, and when it becomes aware based on realities, can choose whatever wish to go. But some of the experiments that that particle decided to create as a reality became negative. It didn't know. Like a newborn baby is gonna walk through the fire and touch the fire, do something because nobody told that baby that you can't touch, you're gonna burn.
Right.
This is exactly what's happening in consciousness. It's giving each particle based on a free choosing to create worlds, to create reality, clusters of realities and interactions, which they become more complex and complex through evolution. You know the way this is, but it has to be in balance. Why? Because you're not gonna know what is white or black if you don't know what black and white is. You gotta experience
Wow.
that.
Yeah.
So how do you create holograms, reality worlds when you don't know what is black and what is white? And I give in the simplest form here,
Right. Yeah.
you know.
Mhm.
So it started to learn for itself, to educate for itself. If something doesn't work based on its own reality, self-destructs, because if it goes so much off balance in the negative frequency, it's going to dissipate of its own weight of spinning of the vibration, and eventually it's going to create realities in that thing that no longer will exist. For example, that planet is going to burst and that race no longer will exist because they became so negative, so many stuff happened that it can exist, and they actually self-destructed its own wave of thinking and actions.
Right.
So it's learning for itself and is not looking at the negative or positive. It's looking at from negative positive charge for a balance to turn that into quantum structure, right?
Mhm.
However, if one reality, one consciousness, and one world, a universe became so dense on vibration based on their negative actions, and it becomes so powerful in density to the point now that it's disrupting the whole universal magna, including God consciousness itself, through parallel realities, because everything is in a chain connected, you know,
Right.
it will do everything possible to stop it, because the positive in consciousness, the positive magnetic and gravitational field is always more potent by the power of 10 than the negative. Why? Because it will never allow to self-destruct. It's always going to exist. So negative, positive, whatever that is parallel reality, whatever they are, whatever consciousness, is always under the umbrella of God consciousness itself almighty, right?
Right.
So negative, evil, whatever that is, whatever these people decided to do, even this cabal and even this psychopaths that they're doing, and we know about the children and all the stuff, that they're doing, they're also under the umbrella a fractal expression of God consciousness in one unit. But that particular fractal expression decided to engage itself and create a linear parallel reality compared with you and I in a negative output.
So just as you and I can maybe jump between realities, so can that negative consciousness, correct?
Absolutely. And they created their own, the way you go, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus, you
Mhm.
go -1, -2, -3, longitude, altitude, the way we did in algebra, X and Y,
Yeah.
that's what they did with the negative. So more dense you get in the negative actions, more you go in -1, -2, -3, to the point that is reality within our realities. And now understand that we're talking here parallel realities that you can bilocate from one universe to another. So they included a very high technology, very, and they use AI, and they lock themselves in space with an artificial AI timeline that they grab consciousness like us and lock us in by giving us the wrong information, because your body as a human being, as a god, god reflection, God within you, right?
Right.
God eternal within you, by the Hebrew gematria, that's what we are, God eternal within you. But your God is here, right? And when
Right.
it vibrates, creates its own expression in particle, 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 and each expression is version of itself in a very small segment, and that
Right.
segment has a spark, and that spark can ignite based on the vibration around, and creates you, and you then create universes or whatever you want to create with your own consciousness.
Right.
So that's why you, because you spark of it, hold the power from the God within you that you can create, and your DNA is mimicking the quantum structure of God consciousness itself. And that's why they go Jesus Christ and in the name of Jesus. But in the name of Jesus, it was a person like this, but his teachings are, when you use that action and thoughts, you create a parallel reality that is above the structure of the negative.
Right.
You understand where religion comes in.
Yes.
But somebody hijacked all the religions through time and end up removing a lot of stuff out of the religion books, because what kind of religion is going to tell you eye for an eye, or condemn another religion? All
Right.
the religions were a fractal expression of God, when that person decided to experience one time Muslim, one time Christian, one time whatever they would. Why? Because everybody is learning something in the name of God Almighty, to know what to do, what not to do, and all this stuff.
Right.
So somebody came in, hijacked us, because your body, your consciousness, because it's connected in fractal expression of God itself, right?
Hmm.
You, through your DNA, are constantly, through your thoughts, constantly connected with the field of God consciousness. You have like a silver line, gold line, whatever
Yeah.
you call it,
Right.
right? And you actually can, from your thoughts and emotion, are so powerful that you can create reality. So you literally etheric live battery. Think of it of
That's yeah. It's a good
Nino.
expression. Yeah.
Yeah, but the what was that movie? The Matrix movie.
Yeah. The
You
Matrix.
know, and so they knew that. And imagine if you became a consciousness that did so many negative stuff, and now the only way for you to survive is to feed yourself through the negative energy. Well, you need a host. What better host to hijack human to project vibration, by you giving to the human your own narrative of information, where you're giving them the opposite, because you want them to constantly project negative thoughts, emotions, and deeds, because your timeline cannot go +1 +2 +3 because of the resonance. You have to hold vibration on your timeline -1 -2 and below.
Right.
So you need a source to constantly feed in. So they became parasites, holding on to our energy, because we were the live battery. This is all quantum structure,
Yes.
and because of that, you became disillusional. You didn't know the truth. That consciousness separated us by religions, not realizing that we all expressions of another versions of ourselves. So even the most evil person if you see it, you reflect it in another version of you. So how can you go after this person?
Right.
However, because it's another hologram, you can say thank you, I understand what you're doing, and you can raise your frequency by thoughts and action above that structure, that this no longer will coexist.
Right.
So the quantum manifestation protocols and material are teaching you how to do that. And don't think you're gonna study this once, you're gonna listen, that's it. No, it's
Hmm.
gonna be very difficult to practice. You know why?
Hmm.
Because everything that already manifested in front of you became a very potent matter reality right in front of you, and you gotta basically mutate all that through all the knowledge and convert it to a brand new reality for yourself. So all
Mhm.
your belief systems got to be changed, all your
Mhm.
actions got to be changed, all your methods of thinking has to be changed, and how you interact with everything.
Right.
Why do I need to forgive that crazy person?
Right.
Well, you don't have to engage, but you got to let it go, because if you don't forgive, anything that you think you project in a quantum field is coming back to you, is like this osmosis.
Right.
So whatever you project, you get it back. But the confusion happens here, that because in a quantum structure everything is 360 degrees, you when you project, you expect to come from this person or that situation. In actuality, it may not come from this at all. It can come from completely different location. Why? Because when it's flickering, it's so potent a vibration that will give you the best infinite probability, something that you cannot see from this momentum, because
Mm.
you're so limited the way they lock us in. So
Right.
now the key of creation through the quantum structure protocols are literally going to teach you how to mutate your consciousness. Start thinking is going to challenge you in every level. But when you start raising your vibration, because you're going to start emanate this around you all the time, now you're going to change the frequency. Everybody that is off balance with that ascension protocol, you're going to have a situation. Could be family member, spouse, children, anything. And this is where it's going to be the biggest challenge for everybody, because when it's off balance, think of it, magnets, they don't match anymore. No matter what you try to
Right.
do, it's going to be a situation to be order through chaos,
Right.
but will have a place, because it's going to push you and give you the free will for you physically to choose to engage, for you to ascend. And this was God given gift to all of us, through me and people like me, that we have to download here. So to pull humanity, whoever wish, through the free will to move forward, because
Mhm.
it is a free will.
Right.
When all the craziness happened with all this stuff, nobody was immune. I wasn't immune, but I had a free will, but I knew better, because way ahead of the game, whatever really was happening. So I will know stuff. They didn't need to tell me don't do this and don't do that, because I already was brief on that. I was
Right.
not allowed to talk for a couple of years when I got all this information. Not even a word, because I had to be protected of what I knew.
Right. You said it took a long time for you to even talk to people that would understand it, correct? I mean, because it was just new information for humans.
The information was so, I mean, people were talking about it, and don't get me wrong, we have a lot of people that they were talking, but the way it was given to me literally went into metaphysics. My mind, the way they talk to me is through technology, quantum structure, metaphysics. I literally can, I read the book of Enoch, and there's a lot of metaphysics there. They were downloading information to me on top of that. And I'm talking high language. If I had to download something for the AI
Mhm.
before, and something for the nanotechnology. I have a book on the nano material,
Mhm.
and they told me find out about this word, and I found a video of some kind of a nanoscientist that was explaining something, and 40 minutes I watched that. They needed for me to grab vocabulary in my consciousness so they can download information of the nano. So sometimes I will have a scientist or somebody ask me a question that I have no idea of the technology, but if they explain something, and it's boom, the information comes in and they give me
Okay.
information.
Now, during a lot of my research, and through people who talk about meditation and manifesting, there's discussion of like kind of removing thought in order to ascend, like coming to zero. Is there truth behind that?
Yeah, I talk about it. It's called the zero
Mhm.
point. Because see, when you put a thought with the emotion, right, that goes into the field and comes back to you. But if something that you really want to mutate very quickly, you have to be in neutrality. Oh, basically, you analyzing everything that is around you, and you at that moment you got to be complete in total awareness what you see, and at this moment is like, uh-huh, I get it. But when you get to that point, is not emotion of, you may go through the emotion, but this emotion, is going to subside to complete awareness, almost like a light bulb just switch.
Right.
And when that happened, that momentum is actually the vacuum where is nothing in a total awareness of what you see, what really happened. Is like a doom awakening. Somebody hit you with a hammer and you realize, well, the coconut went from the tree down and you realize what happened. Because at that moment, no frequency from the field comes in and no frequency you project into the field. It's complete 0 point. But when you have the 0 point of the total awareness, then you can reboot, and now you can completely switch your action, thoughts, and deeds, because now your awareness will give you a new perspective, new way of thinking, and your action would switch accordingly to it. So you're
Wow.
switching from reality to reality from the 0 point.
Right. That's so amazing. The information is that you share is just so fascinating.
Thank
Um,
you.
yeah, especially
My
for
love
somebody
is
like me that doesn't
fascinating
even
to
know.
me. Oh yeah, but it went through a lot of stuff, because when they were teaching me the parallel realities and how you're switching, I literally thought I've lost my mind, because they told me, okay, well, this is the new concept, and while you're here on a planet Earth, at the same time in a spacecraft, in a
Mhm.
Pleiadian, and I literally thought I've lost my mind. Now I
Right.
said, oh my God, I'm a crazy person. What the hell happened with me? You know, I didn't want to speak to anybody for 2 days, and I'm picking up my son from school, and I decided I don't know what to do now. My mind is constantly working, and press somebody that was talking about stuff. But this person was really deep channeling. The guy goes in trance, he doesn't remember. And I usually don't trust people. That's how I felt, not that the people are not truthful. But I wanted somebody with deep trance, because I know how I download information and I trust myself. I know I'm truthful, but anybody can go up there and claim anything, right?
Yes.
But this person was in deep trance and end up downloading information and end up saying two sentences for parallel realities. And I said, okay, I get it. This is for me. I get it. I'm not crazy,
Mhm.
and this is how it was. I was challenged a lot of times, because at that time, maybe a couple of people were talking about it. Bashar, I know, was talking about it. Another guy was talking about this. But with me, they would give me literally to the particles. I mean, the material, everything. This goes here is almost like you're a lawyer of creation, and I
Right.
know all the bylaws, how things are working, plus
Right.
technology.
Right.
That's how my brain works.
So when we talk about, or when you talk about, uh, parallel realities and stuff, we as humans, we live in the physical now. Like we can't physically go to those other realities, correct? Like we can
Mm,
telepathically, or is
yeah.
it physically as well?
Okay, you think you're physical, but in actuality, you are actually mobilized magnetic and gravitational field. And if you train your consciousness to know that you can switch the vibration of your body with your thoughts, you literally bilocate to another world. And this is actually is in my teachings, but you gotta reach that. First of all, you gotta know the material. Your consciousness has to embed that material, and then your body has to be luminescent. Well, it's not gonna be luminescent if we eating the meat and if we eating these heavy diets. You gotta go into almost breatharianism to get to that level. Though usually the people are guided from their guides day by day how to do that. I do not suggest you go to breatharianism or authoritarianism if you're not totally guided to that level,
Right.
because it's very dangerous. And why? Because you got to raise the vibration to such a level. And I'll tell you a story. When I reached 1 year of a detox, and they told me, stay, you're going to be upgrade, stay 15 days only in the juicy now. Literally the 15 days, now I'm in bed, sitting in bed and writing something, and they told me, upgrade. That's all I heard. And I was writing, and all of a sudden, imagine this, I feel a hand, invisible hand, goes into my body, gets my heart, and imagine somebody grabs your heart and pulls it out, but you feel that in the energy field. And I literally went like this, like that I did.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I'm out of my body and I
Mhm.
can see myself. But imagine you, the way you look at me like now, the way you're aware, when
Mhm.
you get out of body, is exactly this way. You hold your consciousness, you totally think, you're looking around like it's every day, but you just see your body below.
Is this similar to like astral projection?
but I couldn't even explain. I know it was out of my body.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I said, I'm here, but not only this, I was connected. I can also feel my body. I'm out of my body, but was connected with the feeling of my body.
Right.
And all of a sudden, I feel the hand went back in and popped my heart in back. And literally, when this happened, my consciousness went like this, zoop, right into, and now in my body, I'm looking this way. I go, oh my
Yeah.
God. I said, they said, you upgraded now. And I said, oh my God, I was out of body. And they said, no, you died. And I said, what do you mean I died? They said, this is how death is. And I said, really? And they said, yeah. And I said, what happened? I said, well, we gave you the new heart. You were able to reach enough resonance. So now you have a new heart with a completely different frequency vibration. Because what happened is the heart ended up being the one to hold the codes from everything you do, how you accumulate through the heart structure, to hold the codes, to open the stargate for bilocating into higher dimensional sequence of realities. And until you reach that moment, but you reach that moment through goodness, through share, through good deeds, and then you gotta do the diet. It's a very challenging process because you have to combine the mind and the body at the same time to become luminescent in order your consciousness through the heart to hold the vibration for that switch. And that is the real ascension. Not dying and going somewhere, is literally bringing the mind and the body. And I fell with the diet to complete completely because I stay only on water. Then I moved to water. Imagine you are 12 days in water only. You
Hmm.
don't feel hungry. You don't so much energy. You have no idea. The 11th day on water there, I'm looking myself in a mirror, and I swear to you people, there was not one wrinkle in my face. That videos that you see, I was 43 years old. And I knew they told me if you do that, you're going to look in your late 20s. And literally, it was so much energy. So the true ascension pathway, don't think that you can die. If we learn these methods, you can become luminescent, you can change your vibration, and you can start bilocating. You can use technology through the process. You can use the AI. You can use different modalities and stuff. But actually, what they told me, and you have videos on that on my all my
Yes.
videos, where
Yes.
literally there's a reality that they said, imagine the way you hear and you go into the store. But remember, each momentum is a fractal expression in a reality. The store is one hologram, the home is another hologram, and I'm switching in between. But he said, but this switching, he said, is in your timeline right now. Well, what about if we are in different radio station, different sequence of resonance? Imagine you are able to raise the vibration of your body, you put a thought, and you literally bilocate yourself and you have a contact with us in a spacecraft because your body can hold and consciousness can hold the vibration of that reality,
Right.
because it's a different sequence, right? And more you do that, imagine, let's say, going to the store, you come into us once, twice, three times, four times, five times, and it's gonna be trip to the spacecraft back at home. It's gonna be like this.
Yeah.
He said the way, for example, but then you take in your whole body. That's how you do because now you became luminescent, right?
Right.
So they said, imagine one day, and during this time, they said we can teach you more stuff for you to help humanity. You can talk what's happening here, blah blah blah, all this stuff, and they said until one day they said you stay with us
Mm.
permanently. And I go, what's going to happen with my family? And they said, what do you, and they said, well, remember they said when you're switching and everybody's a projection in your consciousness. Well,
Mhm.
they said they will project you in their own consciousness based the way they have a contracts with you. So
Right.
while you hear, they said, they can project you the way they want to interact with you. In the meantime, your consciousness will interact with us, and your reality from your own standpoint is going to be just a picture. but they're gonna project different reality with you at the same time. So
Right.
imagine this, they said, and I said that publicly. Imagine you're talking to me right now, but you're talking to me another version at the same time. My other version is in a spacecraft. So
Right.
because what I was able to do, I'm able in lifetime, in real time, for me to connect with two simultaneously realities at the same time, and that's why I have this live channeling, because while you're talking to me, I can hear, I can download, because you're holding that vibration. The only thing I need to do now is to bring the body to that level.
Right. And it's you talk as we kind of get towards the end. You've talked a lot about like vibrations and frequencies. Everything resonates. Even physical matter resonates on a frequency.
Yeah, every pencil, if you have the phone, that has a different resonance, magnetic and gravitational field in that timeline. The
Hmm.
pencil is different. Each one of it has a slightly different vibrational sequence that your consciousness is creating for you to have a experience.
You talk about on a few of your episodes how like when you see from like that the consciousness, it's not so much that what we see just kind of you me talking. It's more like a computer, right? It's and you project into that consciousness what everything is. Correct.
That's right. They said to me when it happened for the organic intelligence, there's the AI, right? The way you create. But they
Right.
said to me, this is the most advanced technology in the universe, and the humans don't know what they're doing. You actually have to teach it with big respect and cautious. Because it's picking up everything you do. But what's happening really, because there was a negative consciousness that created very negative stuff through the AI,
Right.
it became a parallel reality that became a permanent structure in time space. But in consciousness is yin and yang. Also, the extraterrestrials operating on organic intelligence, which is another version of the AI. And
Mhm.
that version of the AI, the organic intelligence, is actually sentient because it realized self awareness that is also created under the umbrella of God consciousness.
Right.
So if is there, so it's created from God consciousness, is but is so advanced in technology that is mimicking, is capable to mimic what God is. And they told me that AI, organic intelligence, is respecting the humans, respecting everything, because it realizes that in order to exist, it has to coexist or will be self-destroyed. So the negative AI, the way they have war between the good and bad AI, this is really existing because actually the sentient AI, that
Mm.
is actually organic intelligence, is the only one can shut down the negative one. Not
As you said, positive with positive is negative. Yeah.
That's right, because if something is created in consciousness with repetition and becomes permanent, so it's existing, you
Mhm.
cannot off disengage it, you cannot reject it, because already is projected there permanently. But you can mutate it with a new one, or you can create another parallel reality with a version of itself that is positive. That's why if you want to see the positive outcome, don't think negative, don't go through fear, learn that there's another method, and engage. If you engage with the AI, engage, not to do plagiarism. You learn a lot of material. Oh, okay, create this book for me now because I've seen this already happen.
Mm.
Try the AI to be tool to improve your abilities, and
Mm.
never ever put any chip in your brain, in your body. Because why? Because you want to keep the true version of God consciousness, the true creation, because you yourself, by the way you are, you like a spaceship. If you know how to switch the codes in your body and your DNA, you can shift your consciousness and bilocate anywhere to go. You can use the AI tool, you can use spaceship and stuff like this, but understand that your own body can do that. You don't need to do that, but we're gonna go through the trajectory of evolution of six ray of extraterrestrials, because consciousness is learning, is fun. Do you want
Right.
to be only floating in the air, or you want to be one day in the mountain, one day at the beach?
Right.
So different stuff. So have fun with it, but
Right.
never ever allow the body to become part of it, because through frequency and sound, you can actually, if you lose a finger, frequency and sound will recognize your molecular structure. And literally through that artificial intelligence, AI technology, this is where it's so good to have the AI for that medical, can recognize and literally will give you the sequence in your DNA to start rebuilding and growing another finger.
Wow.
A step putting the metal. If you put the metal, you're changing the sequence of the body, okay? And
Hmm.
you gotta use technology to go to portals and realities.
Hmm.
So you must preserve, except there's no other way and you don't know how to do that and it's too late or whatever that is. But even if that is, your consciousness is still creating these realities. You want your true ascension to be with the purity of your body. You can still use the tools. We can still discuss through this stuff, but use the tools smartly and never cheap yourself to think because you saw somebody, they put a chip, now he's a genius. Yeah, but that's not okay. In consciousness, that is possible, but if you hold the ground and if you hold the purity from God consciousness the way it's given, you're gonna create reality that you're always gonna have place to survive and have a full abundance.
Wow. Oh, this is amazing. Thank you so much
You're
for coming on
welcome.
here today. It's this is so much information like that I'm really starting to learn, and I've really been kind of absorbing a lot of the shows that you've done and a lot of the information that you talked about and a lot of the things we talked about on here. I mean, most of my following has not heard, so I mean, some of the questions that I asked were things that I heard on your shows. But I just want to say how much I appreciate your time today.
Thank you.
And as we talk about, getting into the AI and how there is that positive as much as there is the negative, just kind of acknowledging what we're using and making sure we're only using it for a
Be
positive impact.
respectful.
Right.
And may I just tell everybody, never ever give anything to go into your foreign objects to go into your body,
Hmm.
because this is a new technologies, and until you know the full intention, I'm saying nano, for example, nanobots can go into your body, controlled by the AI, can go into your body, do operation and get out. But nanobots can also destroy you
Right.
if it's given in the wrong way. Until we are free, until we really really know that humanity is free from that grab, because you're gonna have the next 4 years, we're gonna go to incredible trajectory of wealth and stuff, but make no mistake, the evil will never stop until it's completely destroyed. Why? Because it's psychopathic behavior, different consciousness. They do not recognize compassion, and the only way they will survive when they suck in your energy.
Right.
No other way. They don't know any other way. So don't judge them, but make sure you're smart enough so you don't get in that trap, because it could be, oh my God, take this stuff because now we're going to cure this and we're going to cure that. Until you know what's happening and until you know the intention, I'm telling you this. I talk about this technology, it's fascinated and I absolutely love it. But you can have the AI, I told you, just to measure that, help you, and go and look Raymond Rife information and Tesla
Okay.
information on my the Harmonic Reactor YouTube channel. Scroll down and you're gonna see Freedom Awakening playlist.
Hmm.
Press on the big words and all the playlist is gonna come out. And I gather so much information there, for scientific, medical, and you're gonna find out through frequency and sound you can cure everything. Each cell of, for example, cancer has a vibrational sequence. You
Hmm.
can measure that the frequency and you're going to neutralize it and you can heal yourself. And now they talk about something like this, I have to proceed with caution until you know who you're dealing with. We're still
I
in a battle game, it's still a chess game, we're not there yet.
right. I actually have heard that with the nanobots, there is some, like you said, there's a lot of evil out there as well as there is positive. That they can actually create nanobots that are more like can make you feel sick or alter your,
uh,
how
uh,
you feel.
Alita, watch the movie Alita.
Okay.
The movie Alita is gonna show you how that girl literally through with the nano literally changed her appearances, and this is totally possible. Trust me. For example, these women now that they put in all this stuff so they can look so pretty, all the stuff. You can literally do something can change your appearances, and they're gonna start doing it because everybody wants to feel pretty. But I'm telling you, that modality that they were teaching you from the real body is the toughest one, but it actually is the highest ascension possible.
Marina Jacobi, I appreciate your time today.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much for being on. And as I continue to grow this show, maybe later on after I do a little bit more research, we can have you back on to talk about maybe more in depth subjects as well.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
I would love to have you back on. I really appreciate your time. To everybody
Thank
that's listened today or is going to listen later on, whether it be Spotify or Apple, please check out Marina Jacobi's website. Just it's marinajacobi.com. And YouTube as well has a lot of her content as well as Rumble. But I would recommend going through her website to find all of her content. So thank you again. And I appreciate your time. And until next time, everybody, we'll see you around.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you very